There we go. Right. Should we get this show on the road? I'm going to... Oh, blimey. Oh. Ta-da. I put my orange socks on so you can see my feet. So you might be sitting down just to do the warm-up. That's absolutely fine. You might want to preserve a bit of energy for when we do our balance exercises. Let's just sit up nice and tall, marching, swinging the arms, getting warmed up. There we go. Go as vigorously as you want to. You might just want to start off nice and gently. And then reaching forward, just stretching out those arms. Look at that, poetry in motion. I can just see these hands coming towards the cameras. Fabulous. So a kind of walking pace, just to get into it nice and gently. And then we're going to reach up. And we're going to reach forwards. And reaching up again. Lovely, arm forwards. And back to normal marching. Oh, there we go. So just while your feet are going up and down, hands up, and just give your hands a shake. Keep those feet moving. Floppy wrists, nice and loose. And twisting. And fingers in and out. Keep those feet moving. Marching. Okay, let's change the legs. Stepping forwards. And obviously, for my entertainment, please, opposites, arm and leg. Unless you like TikToking and doing same sides. So a nice swing of those arms if you've got the room. Obviously, if you sat on the chair that's got arms on it, you might not quite be able to swing your arms as much as I'm doing today. I'm going to just let you use your own common sense. Some of you have got it in abundance. Just don't crack your elbows on your chair. And as always, please make sure you've got some room around you to move around. Okay, so you might be leading at the moment with your heels. Your heels are touching down onto the ground. We're going to change it. We're going to reach with our toes. So just try and extend your foot out to the front and try and dab your toes down towards the floor as you extend your leg out. And you're still swinging those arms. We're going to go back to heels. So bobbing those heels down and toes and heels. And toes and heels. So keeping those legs going forwards and backwards, your arms are going to stretch up. And arms going forwards, still trying to do opposite arm and leg if you can, unless your brain's all gone to jelly and it's all a bit too much. And then reaching up. Oh, you've got it. And forwards. I'm feeling that heart rate going up. I know mine is. Getting nice and toasty warm. I'm reaching up. Good job it's not 30 degrees outside. And forwards. Marvellous. Back to normal marching. Let's do our toe taps side to side. So just dabbing those toes down. Again, just try and be nice and light on your feet. We don't want to slam our foot into the ground. Bring your arms into it with our arm curls. Still, if you can, I know there's lots to think about, still trying to sit up nice and tall. Hopefully you're not slouching back in your chairs. Okay, keeping those feet going side to side, your arms going up. Pushing away. And up. And pushing away. And up. Away. Up. Away. Up, away, up, and away, and curl. Oh, it's ace, isn't it? Ace. Okay, funky chickens. Curls. Chicken. Curl. Chicken. And curl. Lovely job. Right, I think we'll do 2 of each. Up, out, chicken, curl. We'll do it 3 times through, unless I get confused, and then you can all laugh at me. But you're on mute, so I won't be able to hear you laughing at me. Here we go. Up for 2. 1, 2, 3, push away. 1, 2, chicken. 1, 2, curl. And again, up for 2. Push away. Chicken. Curl. One more time through. Up. Push away. Chicken. And curl. Marvellous. Back to marching. So we're going to slow the marching down, like you're on the moon, but we're going to lift those knees up higher. So slow it down, but really try and get that knee up as high as you can. So you start to feel those muscles on the front of your hips and on the front of your thighs coming into play. Really driving up that knee as high as you can. I don't need speed for this one. I want the range of movement. I want you to feel those muscles going. And we've got that. Just back to normal marching. Slowing it down. Just your heels up and down. And relax there. So sitting up nice and tall. Just a little bit of movement through the shoulders up and down. Doing our shrugs. And then rolling those shoulders backwards. Again, that lovely big smooth movement that we like. Fabulous. So a little bit more with the shoulders. This time, what I want you to do, I want you to touch your shoulders. Think about the position of your elbows now. What I want you to do is roll your elbows forwards. So we're almost trying to draw a circle with our elbows. Nice and slow. I don't need speed for this one. I just want you to concentrate on that range of movement through the shoulder joint. I know there might be a bit of achiness. I know there might be some creaking and cracking going on. Again, I'm going to leave it up to you how much of the movement you want to put through that shoulder joint. Just steady there, thinking about your elbows again. This time you're going to go backwards. So rolling those shoulders around. Just try and keep your fingertips in contact with your shoulders. And as big a circle as you can make with your elbows as you go backwards. And you might notice there's a difference as you go forwards to when you go backwards, depending on how your shoulders feel today. Marvellous. Okay, arm relaxed there. Just give your arms a bit of a shake. So sitting forward in your chair for me, we're going to do some side bends. Try and keep your bum nice and flat on your chair. Arms down by your side. Nice straight backs. We're going to drop one arm down our side, keeping your back flat, so we're not letting our top shoulder drop forward. We want to keep our back flat and should feel that stretch down this side. Just let this arm hang heavy. Keep the opposite bum cheek down. Now squeeze these side muscles to come up and then go across to the other side again. Just let gravity help pull you over, but keep your bum down on this side. And then squeeze those tummy muscles up, across to the other side. So this arm that's hanging down, your free arm is going to come up to the top and touch your temple, just to try and get a deeper stretch through that side and through your rib cage. Squeeze up, and same again across to the other side. Beautiful, lovely. And then very nice, nice and controlled, coming back up. Hands on your knees, sitting up nice and tall. Our little Mexican waves, nice and smooth. I know we're doing a lot of balance today, but it doesn't stop us from making sure we've got good mobility through our upper body. So we're going to stretch up as high as you can. And back down, nice and smooth. So imagine drawing an arc with your hands as you reach up, really stretching up. And back down. Last one, really big stretch. Now really getting those fingers up towards the ceiling. And then bringing those arms back down. Shoulders a shake. A little bit of a twist now, so we're going to go to our Cossack. Nice straight backs. And remember, you're moving from your waist as you rotate round. So you want to get the whole of your spine, if you can, rotating it. You're not just moving the top part of your back, going from side to side. Try and think about the movement from the waist. Nice and smooth, beautiful, lovely. And relax there, just come back to center. Onto our legs, so a leg, lifting up, just a little bit of kick forwards and backwards, so that you get these quadricep muscles, these thigh muscles. working, tingling away, and a little bit through the knee joint as well, just stimulating that fluid. Into the ankle now, forwards and backwards. And then side to side. And a lovely big circle in one direction, as big as movement as you can. And then back in the other direction. Tip top. The other leg for me, lifting up just a couple of inches, giving you that room that you need just to swing that foot forwards and backwards. And now just the foot, getting that ankle movement, big as you can, forwards and backwards. And then side to side, and a circle, and a circle in the other direction. Lovely, and relax there. A little bit for our hips, so feet together, knees together, sitting up nice and tall, a knee, don't mind which, up, out, down, in. You know what to do, done it before. So just making those circles as you go up, out, down and in. Just one more on this side. Lovely. Your other leg for me, please. Up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in. That's it. Just again, it's nice and circular now, nice and smooth. Don't need to make any jerky movements. Just maintaining that mobility through that hip. Just one more for me on this side. Tip top. And your other leg for me, we're going to go in the other direction. So that means we're going to slide, lift, in, down. Slide, lift, in, down. And just in your own time now, just making that circular movement. Coming in. And one more on this side. Beautiful. Other leg for me, please. Slide, lift, in, down. Slide, lift, in, down. You know what to do. Imagine that kneecap is drawing a circle. Nice and smooth. Lovely. One more. Fabulous. And then just relax there. Sitting up nice and tall. Press up position. Pushing all the way out. All the way back. So really now stretching out your upper back and your chest. Just trying to get that big range of movement through the upper part of your torso. Really pushing out and then bringing those hands back as far as you can so you get the stretch across your collarbones and through the chest. And relax there. We're going to do our imaginary throw. We're going to pick up a ball. Not a real ball. I don't want you throwing balls around your house. And then throwing that ball nice and snappy. Getting those elbows going and the backs of your upper arms. Gets the heart rate going as well. A little bit quicker if you can. A little bit quicker. Come on, come on, come on. A little bit quicker. And then just slowing it down and bringing it back down. Give your shoulders a bit of a shake. So I'm going to finish off getting that heart rate up just a little bit more. If you are stood up, I'm going to recommend you sit down for this next one because I'm going to do star jumps. If you want to do star jumps stood up, by all means do it. I'm not going to. I'm going to do them sat down. So, star jumps. It's probably been a little while since you've done star jumps, seated star jumps. You can tell me later if you've been doing star jumps every day during lockdown. I'm guessing none of you have, but, you know, you might surprise me. So, feet together, knees together, hands on knees, sitting up nice and tall. Feet, first of all, both feet are going to jump out. Jump in. Please make sure you are jumping in and out rather than just dragging your feet on the floor. So we're jumping in and out. And as you're doing that, you might just start to feel your tummy muscles just coming into play a little bit. So get into your rhythm. When you think you've got a nice rhythm going, let's bring the hands into it. So when your feet go out, your hands come up. There we go. So I'm not going to go fast because, as I say, it's probably been a little while since you've done star jumps. So I just want to keep this kind of nice steady rhythm. And in a moment, I'll add the bit where we reach our hands up towards the ceiling and you'll soon start to get out of breath doing this. But I'm going for steady today. I'm going for endurance rather than speed and power. So in a second, we're going to do 5 big ones and then we'll come back to this normal height. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't stop. We're going to come back to the normal height ones. There we go. Just normal height. So bringing those hands about the same height as your own shoulders. We'll do some more big ones in a moment. As I say, if you are stood up and you're doing this stood up, good on you. All right, here we go. 5 big ones. So stretching up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Normal size ones. Normal size ones. Just level with your own shoulders. Keeping your rhythm. As I say, not too fast. Probably feeling that heart rate creeping up. You're probably thinking, ooh, my shoulders are just giving me a little bit of achiness. We are going to do 5 more big ones. There will be our last 5 big ones. Okay, you ready? You look ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Stretching up. Come on. 4. Last one. 5. And relax there. Give those shoulders a bit of a shake. All right. Let me have a little close-up of you just to make sure you're still vaguely smiling. Ros is still smiling. Yeah, Barbara's, I think that's a grimace Barbara's got. I can't tell Pete because he's got a massive beard. Like Abraham, what was the name of that president? Franklin? Roosevelt? My American history is not my forte. Right, enough of this chit-chat. So, we're going to stand up. I'm not going to go through the sit to stand just yet. I want to do sit to stand later on. So please, just in your own way, I would like for you to stand up. Keep your chair handy. You're going to need that a bit later. So the first exercise we're going to do is one you've not done with me before. I'm going to concentrate a little bit on the hip area and the lower back. So this first exercise is a little sequence and it just helps to maintain mobility, but also it stretches through your posterior, so into your bum, into your lower back, and into your hamstrings. Go with the flow with it. It's like I say, it's one we haven't done before, but I quite like it. I've been doing this particular little sequence as part of my warm-up before I go for a run. I'm having a few little tendonitis problems with my hamstrings and my bum. I'm going to be moving around, so I'll be standing side on and I'll be standing front on as well, so you can see my body position. So to start off with, I would like for you to stand with your feet a good hips width apart. Back nice and straight. Okay. So what we're going to do first of all, we're going to do a hip hinge. So we're going to keep our back nice and straight. Keep your legs almost straight. So I'm not bending this way, but I'm not locking my knees out. So I've got a little bit of a kink in my knees. I'm going to push my hips back. Oh, sorry, I've done this wrong. Sorry. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to push my hips back until I start to feel a pull in my bum and in my hamstrings. From this point, I'm going to turn it into a squat. So I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to straighten. I'm now going to push my hips forwards. Hips now, think about your hip position. You're going to push your hips across to one side, back to center, and then push your hips across to the other side and back to center. So I'm not leaning for that one. I want to think about moving my hips. So it's all about the hips for this one. So let's try that again because I've cocked it up at the start. So still keeping those feet about hips width apart. You can put your hands out for a little bit of balance if you want to. Keeping those legs almost straight. Push your bum back until you feel that pull through the back of your body. Turn it into a squat, so lower your bum down towards the ground. Bring your bum back up until you feel that pull. Stand up nice and tall. Hips to one side. Back to center. Hips across to the other side. Back to center. We're going to do that 2 more times. Okay, so push those hips back. Turn it into a squat. Stand up. Bring your body upright. Hips to one side. Center. Hips across to the other side. Center. One more time through. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it now. hips back, squat, stand up, nice and tall, hips to one side, back to center, hips across to the other side, and back to center, and relax there. So, as I say, it's a little bit of a sequence. I quite like it because I do really feel that the joints in your lower back, through your sacrum, through the hips, knees, bum, quadriceps, are just getting a little bit of a nice little workout just to start off with. So I might build on that as we go on through the weeks. Okay, so balance. Oh, I can't remember when it was. We did some tightrope balance, perhaps a couple of weeks ago now. So I'm gonna, we did one where we went through the tightrope sequence and then we lifted a foot off the ground. I'm not gonna do that today. I'm just gonna do the tightrope stand and then I'm gonna add a sway into it. Remember, when we're doing the balance, use your support as you need. Don't feel you need to do exactly what I'm doing. So if you see me take my hand off the chair, don't think, oh, I must take my hand off the chair. See how you feel. Okay. So a foot, I don't mind which. Clearly, we're not in the class now, so I can't have you all going in the same direction. So we're going to stand on our imaginary tightrope. So you're going to swing a foot round, place it in contact with the toes. Good job, I've got my bright orange socks on. So both feet are in a line. And as I've talked about before, we want to try and make sure our balance is distributed evenly. So we're not too far forwards and we're not too far back. Keep your hand in contact with the chair just for the moment. We'll move on to the harder stuff in a second. I just want you to settle into this position. I want you to be nice and tall. I want you to be aware of the movement that's being made in your feet and in your lower leg and through the knee and through your bum. That's your balance. Try, and I know it's difficult because you're probably looking at the camera, but try and keep your head and eyes going forwards. Just fix on something that isn't going to move. That will help your balance. As you settle into this position, feel free to play around with your hand position. So try and not grip your support too tightly. Just rest your hand on your support. And if you want to take your hand off and see how you get on, that's absolutely fine. You can always put your hand back down as you need. I'm going to stop talking. I'm just going to leave you in this position just for a moment. Okay, so keep your feet where they are. You can put your hand back on your support if you need to. Keep your feet where they are. We're now going to do a little bit of weight transference. So keeping your chest lifted, you are going to gently rock forward so that your weight comes over your front foot. You might find your heel of the back foot comes up, that's fine. And then you're going to transfer your weight backwards and allow those toes to come up on the front. So we're just transferring that weight forwards and backwards. Just nice and smooth, nice and rhythmically. And again, if you want to try and take your hand off your support, see how that feels as you transfer your weight, changing your center of gravity, keeping it nice and controlled. You're actually also strengthening those small joints, those small muscles in your feet. You go forwards and backwards. Keep that chest up. We're not letting our heads fall forwards. That weight transference again, that movement through the hips. Beautiful, lovely, and relax there. We're going to change the position of our feet. So come off your tightrope, give your legs a little bit of a wiggle. Now your other foot becomes your lead foot. So we're going to do both sides the same. And again, it might be different for some of you on one side compared to the other. Lots and lots of different reasons why that's the case. Settle down first of all, trying to find that center. Keep your hand resting on the chair if you need to, just to start off with. Think about your posture, just lifting up your chest. Just settle into this position for a moment. If you want to remove your hand from the chair, please do. Okay, put your hand back on the chair. Keep your feet where they are. We're going to do that swaying forwards and backwards again. So again, chest up, transferring your weight over the front foot, keeping your chest up as you move backwards. If it feels natural to lift a toe up or a heel up as you move forwards and backwards, please do. And if you want to take your hand off the chair as you're doing that movement, give that a go. And just keep your hand just a couple of inches off your chair if you prefer. Always put it back down if you feel a little bit wobbly. And rest if you need to rest. You're in your own homes now, so if you want to disappear and go and get a drink of water or just take a seat and have a rest, that's absolutely fine. So just a couple more sways, forwards and backwards, with control. Beautiful, lovely. Okay, and relax there. Just come off your tightrope and give your legs a little bit of a wiggle. Yeah? So that's, I quite like that one. That it's more dynamic. You need more control through your feet. When we do the sequence where we lift our foot off the, or lift the toes off the floor and lift our heel off the ground, that's more, there's a lot of strength required for that. And that's when we feel that pressure building up through the hips, which we'll come to later on. Before then though, we are going to just do a quick one-legged stand. You can use your chair if you want to, so you can stand side onto your chair or you can face your chair, whichever's comfortable for you. Use your support, preferably just one hand, a leg, I don't mind which. Try and, my yoga teacher calls it grounding down through your standing leg. So whichever's going to be your standing leg, try and force that into the ground. Your other leg, I just want you to lift off the ground just a couple of inches, so you can either lift it to the front or you can bring it behind you, whichever you feel comfortable with. Still trying to stand up nice and tall. Keep your hand resting on the top of the chair if you want to. Don't be gripping too tightly. We're just going to settle into this position. Try and keep your head nice going forwards. And then just experiment with your hand position. Perhaps take it off the chair if you want to. And now I'm going to be quiet and just let you concentrate on this balance. And relax there. I'm hoping that you're all very still and just that your cameras haven't frozen. The other leg. So your other leg now, again, kind of ground it into the ground, nice and strong, nice and supportive. Use your chair if you want to, just in the early stages. Lift your other foot off the ground. Keep your chest up. Think about your posture. Experiment with your hand position. And again, just balance. That's all I want you to do. Fabulous. And bring that foot down. Give those legs a little bit of a shake. So just moving on from that one-legged balance, I'm now going to do a pelican swing. So it's much more dynamic. And again, we're changing our center of gravity. So you're really challenging your balance that way. And your body, your vestibular system, your balance system has to really adapt to this. So standing side on to your support. For this one, you will just need to make sure you've got some space in front of you and behind you, because you're going to be swinging your leg. I don't want you kicking things around. Chest up. A foot stays planted, nice and solid into the ground. Your other leg, the leg that's going to swing, you're going to bring your knee up to the front, and then you're going to swing it back. It'll just graze the floor, and then you're going to bring it behind you. So we're looking for this rhythmical movement here, this swing. So this is where our center of gravity is constantly adapting to this movement. And if you want to, you can take your hand off the chair to test that balance. You can always put your hand back down if you want to. So your standing leg will start to get achy. Try and fight through it. Try and maintain that balance. Try and keep the rhythm through this swinging leg. Much more difficult because you're moving, so you might be more in contact with your chair than you were in the previous balance exercise. I know that leg is achy. That's because we're developing the strength in that standing leg as well. Just a few more swings for me. Fabulous. And relax there. Give those legs a shake. You're probably enjoying that little shake. We all right? Everyone looks okay. We're going to do the other side. As I said before, take a rest if you need to take a rest. So your other leg, fixing it into the ground, grounding it down so you're nice and solid, nice and stable on your standing leg, chest lifted. Your other foot now, we come up to the front, and then swing it behind. So that nice rhythmical movement, your chest, your head stays nice and still, so we're not swinging our head forwards and backwards. And then again, experimenting with your hand position. See what you can do with your balance. Your standing legs, that pressure, that achiness, that effort starts to build, especially through the hip area. Try and keep your rhythm though. Beautiful, lovely. Rest if you need to rest. Put your hand down if you need to put your hand down. Just a few more swings. And steady there. Give those legs a bit of a shake. How are we feeling? All right. Just have a little check of you all. See that there's anyone that looks unhappy. Oh, you all look like Christmas decorations. All sparkly and happy. Look at that, even a thumbs up. Okay. So, the next balance exercise I'm going to do is another dynamic balance exercise. Again, you'll need some room to the side. You can still use your chair though if you need to. So this one is a side step with a little bit of dynamism in it, with a bit of balance going on. So, I'm going to go in this direction to start off with. I'm going to take a nice big step out. I'm going to bend this outer knee. I'm going to push. I'm going to keep my foot off the ground. This is the balance bit. So this is the dynamic bit and strength. This is the balance bit. So this is where you might need your chair. Take that step out, bend that knee so you cushion the movement and then push through that leg up to a standing balance position. Give that a go. If you need to put your hand down when you push back up, that is absolutely fine. This is quite a tricky, it's quite an advanced exercise, this. See how you get on. Look at you, you're all moving beautifully. Look at that. So this requires control. This requires core strength to hold this position before you move again. So it's quite a good all-round exercise, this. If your knees or hips aren't so good, you don't need to take a big step out. You can shorten that stride, but please do make sure you've got that bend in that knee. It will cushion that movement. Have we got it? Probably feeling a little bit out of breath doing this as well. Beautiful, okay. Once you've done that one, just relax. Give your legs a shake. We're going to do the other side. I'm just going to flip my chair around. So the other side, again, still standing up nice and tall. The leg furthest away from your support, or whichever one you've not done, is going to take that step out, bend that knee, push back to standing, one-legged stand. Out, push, balance. Try and nail that balance so you don't overcook it and fall onto your support. So we've got that side step into a push, into a one-legged balance. Oh, you'll be practicing this later on when you're boiling your kettle, won't you? Use your support if you need to use your support. That's what it's there for. Take a stride out as much as you feel comfortable with. Shorten it if things are starting to cause you a little bit of problems through those knees. Rest if you need to rest. Control, balance, poise, core strength. Doing it all now. Ooh, nearly overcooked it myself. Okay, one more for me on this side. Fabulous. Relax there. Give those legs a little bit of a shake. Right. Please take a seat for me. I'm thinking, oh, that really does that. Just give you a moment. Deep breath. So we're just going to do some sit to stands just to finish off our little leg sequence, and then Might have a little play around with the resistance bands since we've got a little bit of time. So a little bit of sit to stand. Let me just turn at a quirky angle. So sitting on the edge of your chair, both feet flat on the floor, shoulder width apart for your feet and your knees, and we're going to try and maintain this separation through our knees throughout the exercise. We're not letting our knees collapse in. Sitting up nice and tall. Got your hands on your knees. You've brought your feet back towards your chair. To start off with, please, I just want you to lift your bum off that chair just a couple of inches. Clearly, if you sat on your sofa, it's going to be quite tricky. I don't think anyone sat on their sofas. So amend the exercise depending on what sort of chair you're using. If you've got arms on your chair and you want to use the arms to give you a bit of a boost, then please do so. You've all done sit to stands with me before, so you all know the drill. Sitting up nice and tall. We're going to lean and lift that bum an inch or two. Then nice and controlled lower. This is control now, that's what I'm after. So lean and lift and lower. You'll notice I'm doing it quite slowly. That makes it harder. You're welcome. Lean and lift and lower. And again, lean and lift and lower. Just one more for the moment. Lean and lift and lower. Tip top. Okay, let's make this a little bit harder if you want to. Take a rest if you need to take a rest. So what we're going to do next, we're going to stand up the whole way. When we come back down, we're not going to come down all the way. So we're going to come down part way, and then we're going to stand up the whole way again. It's actually squats. You knew that anyway. You knew I'm trying to trick you. All right, rest if you need to rest. So sitting up nice and tall, we're going to lean, press, and stand. Nice and controlled now. As you bend your knees, your bum goes backwards part way, and then stand up. Bum back part way, and stand. Drive those hips forwards. Hips go back, keeping your back straight. I know it's angled, but it's straight, and stand up. Bum back. Don't sit down. Hips forward. This time I want you to sit down all the way with control and grace and dignity. Okay, we all right? Let's make it a little bit harder. So the reverse of that you've just done, from this position here, you're going to come up part way, down nearly all the way, but we don't want to put all the weight back down onto our bums when we sit down. So we're going to kind of bob up and down. And I might add a little hover into it. A lot less bother with a hover. Right, here we go. So we're going to lean and lift, lower nearly all the way, and come up. Come down and come up. And down and up. Ooh, feeling that. And down and up. And down. Is the pain going to end? Not quite. Come up. Come down. I want you to hover there. Don't let that bum touch that chair. Don't let that bum touch that chair. Come back up. And down and hover. And relax and sit down. Give your legs a bit of a shake if you need to. Whew. Right, I'm going to assume that you're all still functioning. If you've got your resistance band, please make it available to you. So we've got a little bit of time. I've not got acres of time. So I'm just going to continue the leg theme, and we're just going to do a little bit of a simple strengthener for the hips. It's not the hardest exercise in our repertoire, but considering what you've already done today, I don't want to make anything too difficult. So take your band, flatten it out, put your feet together and your knees together. You're going to lay the band over the top of your lap, thus. Lift your heels up, because it just makes things a bit easier. Pass the band, sorry, give it a little bit of a pull so there's some tension on your band. Pass the band underneath your lap, cross it over, and then bring the ends up to the top. And you can drop your heels down. I'm not in the room, so I can't do it for you. If you've not managed it, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. Got it? I think so. Right, okay. So from this position here, let's start off nice and simply. We're going to sit up nice and tall. So we're just going to think about our postures whilst we're doing this particular exercise. We're going to push our knees apart. So again, like with the previous exercises we've done today, nice and controlled. So try and make the effort the same in both legs. So you're not favouring one leg over the other. So you're not doing this kind of movement. You want the effort to be equal on both sides. As you turn those, as you push those knees out, you start to use those muscles through the side of your thighs and into the hip area as well. But if you're sitting up nice and tall, then extra muscles come into play, those ones that are deep in your core and your tummy and through the lower back as well. So it's a nice little exercise, this. And I think you'll probably agree it's not massively difficult, especially considering what you've already done today. I will make this slightly more difficult in a moment though. Be pleased to know. Good job, I've got you on mute. Okay, so from here, we're going to just walk our feet out just a couple of steps. So we've got some space between our feet. Still sitting up nice and tall. Push those knees apart. Again, equal effort. Hold it. Nice and controlled. Bringing it back in. Knees apart. And hold. Nice and controlled back in. Beautiful, lovely. And apart. And back in. Don't be snapping any resistance bands right now because that'll be painful. Barbara. Push those knees apart. And back in. One more time, push those knees apart. And then nice and controlled, bringing it back in. Keep your feet where they are, just letting you have a moment. If you want to give your legs just a little bit of a shimmy, please do. I'm going to make it harder again. Okay, so this time, still sitting up nice and tall, just thinking about your postures. Push those knees apart. You ready? You've got loads of tension on your band now. Yes, that makes sense. So this time, a foot is going to come off the ground. Now keep pushing against that band. Don't let your knees start to come in. So keep pushing against that band. Your foot is off the ground. Keep your posture nice and tall. And lower that leg. Keep the tension on your band. Don't let those knees close. Other leg. Lifting up so your foot comes off the ground. And lower. The other leg. Lifting up. Ooh, feeling that through the outer part of my bum. And back down, and the other leg lifting up. And back down, and then bring those knees in, just for a little bit of respite for a few moments. Before I make it harder. Here we go again. So pushing those knees apart, sitting up nice and tall, keep the tension on that band. A foot now, tapping. So normally in the class I'd have some music on. You'd be tapping along to some music right now. I can't do the music thing because it sounds awful and then you can't hear what I'm saying. So just tapping that foot up and down. Keep pushing against your band. Don't let those knees come in. Steady there on that leg. Keep that separation. And then start tapping your other foot. Please make sure the foot does come off the ground. Otherwise it defeats the object. Keep tapping that foot, keep pushing those knees apart, still trying to sit up nice and tall. Steady there, keep those knees apart. I want you to just pulse your knees in and out. So a tiny, tiny little movement in and out. Oh, you're feeling that now, aren't you? Push those knees apart, one knee up, and down, and the other knee up, and down, and pulse. Keep that tension on that band. Don't let that pathetic rubber band defeat you. You are stronger than this rubber band. Push those knees apart. Knee up. And down. Other knee. And down. And relax there. Bring those knees in. Walk your feet back in. Let go of your band. And then remove that band from around your lap. Your legs might feel very floaty and light, especially around your hips. How are we doing? All right, just pedal your feet just a little bit, just to get that, ease that tension from those muscles in the tops of your legs and through the bum. So just a little bit of a pedal there. Fabulous. Right, there you go. Hard work done. Tick. Balance, tick, strength. Crikey, done quite a lot today. Let's do our stretches. And then you can think about what you're having for your dinner. I've got some homemade soup. Okay. So let's go straight into some leg stretches. Sitting on the edge of your chair for me, please. Extend the leg out, try and get it nice and straight, and then point your toes up towards the ceiling. Let's enjoy that stretch through the Achilles and through the calf area. So really just thinking about pointing those toes back up towards your face. And you can relax now, almost. Point those toes forward, so stretching through the shin and through the ankle. And then toes back up towards the ceiling. Lovely, you can relax that foot because you're going to put both hands onto your bent knee on your other leg. Sit up nice and tall. And then just try to fold forward towards that straight leg. Let gravity take you until you feel that stretch through the back of your thigh, through the bum. Just relax now. Take a breath out if you think it'll help. Just easing down into that stretch. And then very gently, we're going to push back up to your seated position. Same again on the other side. Extend your other leg out. Toes up. And again, trying to pull back those toes towards your face, keeping that leg nice and straight. And then point your toes forwards. And then toes back up towards the ceiling. Just maintaining that length through those muscles. Take tension off your foot, hands onto your bent leg as a support, sitting up nice and tall, and then folding forward again towards that straight leg, feeling that stretch coming into play through the hamstrings and into your bum. Take that breath out if you think it will help, just to drop slightly deeper to your stretch. Then gently pushing back up to your seated position and relax there. We're going to do our hip stretches, and I know some people are not a fan of these particular hip stretches. So if you can't do what I'm about to demonstrate, your option is to clasp your hands around your knee and pull up your knee as high as you can so that you get the stretch through the hip area. So that's everyone, I think, can manage that. Some of you, though, have got good flexibility through your hip and through the knee joint, so you might be able to cross your foot onto the top of your knee. So this is option number 2, if you're able to achieve this position. If you can't do this, please pull up that knee as high as you can. If you are hugging your knee, I want you to point your toes up towards the ceiling. If you've crossed your foot over your knee, what I want you to do is press your knee down towards the ground, so pressing this top knee down so that you start to feel that stretch through the hip area. For those of you who've got your legs crossed, release that pressure, but just lean forward slightly towards this leg. And again, you'll feel that stretch. It doesn't take a big lean forwards. And now everybody is going to sit up and we're going to do the other side. So feet back on the ground. So same again on the other side. You might find you slightly different depending on if you've had any hip problems in the past. So either give that knee a hug and point your toes up towards the ceiling, or if you're able to cross that foot onto your opposite knee and then apply a bit of top pressure to that knee. If you've got your leg crossed, a little bit of a lean forward just to change the point of that stretch through the bum area. And whichever stretch you're doing, release it and lower your feet back down to the ground. Excuse me. So some stretches for our upper body. Sitting up nice and tall, let's do a back first of all. One hand in front of the other, and then push those hands away, stretching through that upper back. So you might find you're rounding your back for this one, that's fine. We're trying to get a really good stretch through those upper back muscles. And then we're going to release. We're going to hold onto our chair or the small of your back. Roll those shoulders back and try and press your chest forward. Pull back on your shoulders to get that stretch through the collarbones and through the chest. And then relax there. We're going to go back onto that back stretch, so pushing those hands out again. And then releasing that, let's do the chest stretch again. So shoulders back, chest out. And steady there. A little bit of a twist. So take a hand, pop it on your opposite knee, spare hand hold onto your chair, sitting up tall, then using your hands as a lever to rotate around. Remember, you are trying to move from the lower back as well, not just from your shoulders. Keeping that back nice and tall. Coming back to the center, we're going to do the other side. So your other hand onto your opposite knee, spare hand onto the chair, sit it up, and then pulling yourself around till you feel that stretch running through the back. And then coming back through to the center. I'm going to do the lower back stretch. Listen, you know the rules for this one. If it's uncomfortable or painful, you don't need to do it. Just a bit of common sense. See how you feel when we're doing this particular stretch. So feet flat on the floor. You've got your hands on your knees. And sit up nice and tall. So you're going to take the weight of your upper body on your hands as you lean forwards until you start to feel that stretch through your lower back, perhaps through your bum. Just easing down, just relaxing into it. Now it's a little bit difficult because of the body position you're in, but do try and breathe normally. If you get to a certain point and you think, I'm okay here, and you want a slightly deeper stretch, by all means, drop your hands towards your ankles or the floor or your feet, and then you're just letting gravity pull on your arms there so you get a slightly deeper stretch. Okay, hands back on your knees, and then very gently pushing back up to your seated position. Okay, last few moments for our shoulder and neck. So a few little shrugs up and down, and then rolling those shoulders backwards, maintaining that mobility. As always, we're just going to finish off with our neck stretches. As always, just moving the head. Avoid the temptation to move your shoulders. Sitting up nice and tall. And then turning your head and eyes round, pushing your chin round. So you get the stretch and that rotation. And then coming back through the center, pushing your head and eyes round and your chin to try and get as far around onto the other side. And then coming back through to the center. Gently now, you're going to drop your head to one side to let gravity take your head. So you feel a stretch through the neck. And then coming back up, and then dropping the ear across to the other side. Don't be lifting your shoulders up. Just try and keep your shoulders down. And then coming back up. Gently now, dropping that chin towards the chest. So that you feel a stretch through the back of the neck. And now lifting up, pointing that chin up as high as it'll go until you feel a stretch through the throat. And then back down. And finally, as always, just making those circles with our chin in one direction, just rolling around. And then very gently back round in the other direction. As big a movement as you can manage, although I know some of you've got neck problems or shoulder problems, so just amending it as you see fit. And relax there at the end. Give your hands a final shake for me, please. Give those legs a bit of a pat down. Did slightly more balanced exercises than I anticipated there. So well done for fighting through with those. Hopefully you're okay, and hopefully those leg muscles and hip muscles and back muscles aren't going to be too achy over the next few days. Are we feeling all right? Yeah? Give yourself a round of applause for today. Well done. Silent applause. It's like being in a university where you're not allowed to make loud noises in case you frighten the students. If you want to unmute yourself, you can. I can't unmute you all. There we go. Everyone all right?
Yes, thank you.
Was that a scream of pain from somebody then? That's what it sounded like. Ah!
Oh, no, you're right, just as you
I missed that, Sheila.
The gardeners arrived just as you started, so I had to
All right.
because I couldn't hear.
Oh, sorry.
Alison, are you doing tomorrow?
I can't do tomorrow, no. It'll probably be, just hold on while you're there. If you need to disappear, then obviously disappear. But I'll put it in an email. Sorry. What's today's date? So next week I will be, it might be a Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning. How does Wednesday afternoon about 4 o'clock sound?
Fine.
Yeah.
Before tea, before you have your tea.
You're sure?
Fine.
I'll put it in an email. So I might do Wednesday afternoon, maybe a Friday afternoon.
Okay.
There might be 2 sessions next week. So if you can make one, brilliant. You know, we'll take it from there. I just want to reiterate what I'll do, because I know some of you have asked about paying and payments and are worried about things like that. I just make like a little note, a little register of who attends. So I do keep tabs on who's here, and all I'll do is when you've done your 5 that you've paid for, I'll just send a message out. I'll just send an email out just to let you know. So don't worry, I am on top of it. I know you might not think it, but I am. So I hope that's okay for you anyway. All right. And as always, if you've got any feedback, good or bad, or you've got any suggestions about things you'd like to work on, just let me know and I'll try and accommodate you best I can. All right.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, everyone. I thank you for your support as well. I do appreciate it. All right. Take care, and I'll see you soon. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello.